Good evening, everyone. I again welcome you all on this platform that is One Mark Solution. और जैसा कि आपको पता है कि we are conducting live subjective sessions for objective type questions, especially multiple choice question, fill in the blanks, true false, assertion reason question, case study based question, and other one mark questions which is asked in the CBSE board examination. So today we are going to discuss about the various type of case studies for the mathematics class 10th from the chapter quadratic equations. So quadratic equation chapter है क्लास 10th में मैथमेटिक्स का चैप्टर नंबर 4 है और चैप्टर 4 से जो डिफरेंट टाइप की केस स्टडीज़ पूछी जाती हैं उन केस स्टडीज़ के क्वेश्चंस को डिस्कस करने के लिए आज हम यहाँ पर हैं और हमारे साथ सब्जेक्ट एक्सपर्ट के रूप में मौजूद हैं मैडम सावित्री धायल। मैडम सावित्री, आपका मैं बहुत बहुत स्वागत करता हूँ इस प्लेटफॉर्म पर। और सावित्री मैम पहले भी चैप्टर 1 to 3 के लिए भी केस स्टडी के क्वेश्चंस को डिस्कस कर चुकी हैं। द वीडियो इज़ अवेलेबल ऑन द सेम प्लेटफॉर्म। आप प्लेलिस्ट में जाएंगे तो आपको प्लेलिस्ट में केस स्टडी में मैडम की वीडियो मिलेगी जिसमें चैप्टर 1, 2 और 3 से रिलेटेड जो केस स्टडीज़ हैं उनको डिस्कस किया गया था। मैं हमारे सभी व्यूवर्स का परिचय व्यूवर्स को मैडम से परिचित करा दूं। मैडम सावित्री रायल इस टीजीटी मैथमेटिक्स वर्किंग एज सीनियर एकेडमिक कोऑर्डिनेटर इन बिरला बालिका विद्यापीठ पिलानी राजस्थान। बहुत लंबा एक्सपीरियंस है, 31 ईयर्स का एक्सपीरियंस है मैडम को एज ए टीजीटी साइंस मैथमेटिक्स पढ़ाने का और लगभग 12 वर्ष का एक्सपीरियंस है, 12 ईयर्स एक्सपीरियंस एज एन एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर, एज एन कोऑर्डिनेटर ऑफ सीनियर एकेडमिक. Madam also has been awarded with the Best Teachers Award and commendation for 25 years of outstanding services by Birla Education Trust Pilani, awarded by the Teachers Excellence Award 2018 at Principal Summit Jaipur. She also awarded with the Best Teacher Award by Rachna Sagar Publication, Best Collaborative Coordinator 2020 by the Global Schools Award in collaboration with the Education TV, and awarded with the Real Superwoman 2020 Academic Scale by Forever Star India Award. इसके अलावा और भी बहुत सारे अवार्ड और रिकग्निशन मैडम को इनकी सर्विस के लिए डिफरेंट इंस्टीट्यूशन के द्वारा, डिफरेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के द्वारा दिए गए हैं. सी इज़ also she has appointed as a head examiner so many times for CBSE, and she is also a trainer for the CBSE training programs for the TGT मैथमेटिक्स. बहुत सारे और भी मैडम के अचीवमेंट्स हैं और निश्चित रूप से जब हम ये सेशन अभी कंडक्ट होगा और मैडम आपके साथ सेशन का जो कंटेंट है उसको डिस्कस करेंगे, डेफिनेटली यू विल बी एबल टू नो कि मैडम का जो कंटेंट है, मैडम का जो प्रिपरेशन है इस पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक पर, इस पर्टिकुलर फील्ड में वो कितना अच्छा है. और डेफिनेटली हमारे साथ जितने भी लोग जुड़े हुए हैं दे विल बी बेनिफिटेड फ्रॉम today's session. I would like to request all our viewers kindly subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. और पिछली जो वीडियोस हैं हमारी, we are not conducting only for the mathematics. We have conducted yesterday we have conducted art integrated learning for science, and we are going to conduct tomorrow art integrated learning in mathematics which will taken by the Apsa ma'am from Hyderabad. So आप हमारे साथ जुड़े रहिए. आप लगातार इस चैनल के माध्यम से आपके जो हमारे जो बच्चे हैं, जो ऐसे बच्चे हैं जो अच्छी कोचिंग नहीं जा पा रहे हैं या अच्छी स्कूल नहीं जा पा रहे हैं, डेफिनेटली यहाँ पर वर्ल्ड क्लास टीचर्स जो हमारे हैं, जो हमारे सब्जेक्ट एक्सपर्ट्स हैं, उनके साथ मिलकर के ये कोशिश है हमारे टीचर्स की कि हम उन बच्चों की मदद कर सकें, उन बच्चों को हम आगे लेकर के आ सकें जो बच्चे वास्तव में डिज़र्व करते हैं और उनको हम उत्कृष्ट शिक्षा, अच्छी शिक्षा दे सकें. मैं एक बार फिर से सभी से रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर लें. और अब मैं हैंड ओवर करता हूँ मैडम सावित्री को. मैडम प्लीज़.
Thank you so much, Dr. Asad. It's a pleasure being here again, and a very cold evening to all of you. So last time we talked about first 3 chapters of case study. Now again, before starting on, I'll just get back to you all to discuss the pattern, the new pattern which has been introduced by CBSE for the board exams this year. It has changed, and part A carries 16 question of 1 mark, which we used to have earlier also on the same pattern. But a new insertion is there, that is 17 to 20, we will be having 4 marks each. So those questions are basically given for case study, and case study means it is depending upon the day-to-day life situations. And it has been given, it is considered under 1 mark because it will be having, each question will be having 5 parts. Out of those 5, any 4 you have to attempt, and each would carry 1 mark. So today we are going to discuss specifically on the case study questions which are can be asked from quadratic equation chapter. We have already done about linear equation, how to form the equations, and what all kind of questions can be found there. So now today we are going to discuss about the case study questions of quadratic equation and what other topics can be related to quadratic equation and the questions can be asked. So basically part A, then part B has 2, 3 and 5 marks questions each. So we'll get back to the case study questions, and before that, let's see the learning objectives of the today's session. Now, first learning objective which I have kept is very clear, that is to clear the concept of case study questions. Then to understand the approach to attempt the questions as per allotted marks. To motivate for relating the concepts of maths with life situations and understanding that maths is all around us. Then to brainstorm and form as many questions as possible from a given situation. Then to inculcate creative, analytical, and problem-solving skills. So these are the learning objectives I have kept in my mind to go ahead with the today's lesson. So first, let us see the first problem, or we can say first case study. How do we go ahead with the questions? First one is John and Priya went for a small picnic. Normally, everybody goes for a small picnic. But to think mathematically, you have to have your mind open and also to look around for any concept related to mathematics. So when they went for a picnic, after having their lunch, Priya insisted to travel in a motorboat. The speed of the motorboat was 20 km per hour. Priya being a mathematics student, so either you have to be mathematics student, and if you are not, you have to think mathematically. But up to class 10, each child is a mathematics student. So see, wherever you go, it has to be related to day-to-day life. So that's what the case study is. You have to take up that situation and bring it into the mathematics. So then what she wanted to study the speed of the stream. So what she would do, she noted the time of upstream and downstream. Now here these two words are coming up. One is upstream, another is downstream. So children, it should be very clear the concept, what does it mean? Now, all of you might have seen the river flowing. So it flows downwards. Downwards means from top to bottom, or from a higher level to a lower level. And that speed of the stream with which it is flowing, that we call it as speed of the current or the stream. So that affects how you are going to travel. Because when you travel from top to bottom, or going from coming from upward direction to the downward direction, you are going down the stream. And when you move towards upwards, then it is going against the stream. So it is up the stream. So this concept has to be learned. And then you are going to form a question or form the situation, the situational equations, what are given there. So I just read the question again so that you are into it. John and Priya went for a small picnic. After having their lunch, Priya insisted to travel in a motorboat. The speed of the motorboat was 20 km per hour. Now, Priya, being a mathematics student, wanted to know the speed of the current. So she noted the time for upstream and downstream. She found that for covering the distance of 15 km, the boat took 1 hour more for upstream and then the downstream. So when we are going up the stream, we are going up against the motion. So that concept has to be kept in mind, and that is why when we are going against the motion, obviously our speed is going to be slow. And so the time taken would be more. So this concept has to be very clearly kept in mind. So this is the situation, this is the case study first given, and then now based on this, there would be different kinds of questions which can be asked. So we'll deal with them one by one. So let's see the very first question which can be asked. Now the situation is given, now question is given based on it, that let the speed of the stream be x kilometer per hour. Then speed of the motorboat in upstream will be, now upstream, I told you just now that up the stream you're going against the motion, against the speed of the stream. And now obviously you will be able to move only when the speed of the boat is more than speed of the stream. That concept is also there. Now, when you are going, your speed of the motorboat is 20 kilometer per hour. Keep this in mind. And what is the speed of the stream? It is given as x kilometer per hour. I've given you the hint. Now you should know what is the speed of the motorboat upstreams. I hope by now you might have calculated it. So when we speed of the motorboat and upstream we are moving, so speed of the stream is from upward to downwards. It is stopping or hindering the speed of the motorboat. So that means 20 kilometer per hour and minus x, the speed of the stream is slowing down the speed of the motorboat. So that would be now 20 minus x. So this concept, and here again a question can be formed with the downstream. So what would be the speed of the motorboat? Downstream. So downstream when you're coming, speed of the boat and the speed of stream, both are in the same direction. So both will be added up. So there you will get speed of the downstream would be 20 plus x. So like this you can form the questions and you come to know what is the meaning of it. Now here I would like to give you one more situation which most of you might have experienced and not thought about it, but would have experienced sometime. See, if you know cycling, you have been cycling, going from home to school or back, and fast wind is blowing. So if fast wind is blowing, then if it is blowing in the same direction as you are moving, you need not speed up. You need not put more force to move fast. Along with your speed, your wind speed is also helping you out, and with the same force, you are able to move faster than as compared to if you're moving in the opposite direction. That means if you're moving forward and the wind is blowing in the opposite direction, it is stopping you. So that concept, that is another case study from here. You can go into the situation. The situation may change, but the basic concept remains same. So you must learn to relate the situations with the concepts which you have studied. So that is the answer to a first question, gives us a correct option, and we can go ahead. Now case study questions will be MCQ type, and then you have to do the calculations if required and give the right option as the answer to it. So now let's go in for the second question that can be asked, and a very common question. Every one of us have been doing this, studying it since class 6 as we started studying about speed, distance, and time. But the question can be formed and asked. We have to carefully see the question, read the question, and understand. So what is the relation between speed, distance, and time? There are three options given. Speed is distance into time, distance is speed upon time, time is speed into distance, and none of these. So again, the common formula you have got derived from there. Normally, when we talk about speed, distance, and time, we say speed is equal to distance upon time. That is kilometers per hour. meters per second or whatever the unit is given. But here we don't have that. So then you have to see the speed would be going on for the formula. So that's how you are going to proceed one by one. Next, now we are coming to the topic which we have taken up, because step by step, if we proceed, it will be more clear to us. Now, which is the correct quadratic equation for the speed of current? Speed of current, I told you, current word is used for stream as well. So both these words should be known to you. Now, quadratic equation, let me explain it once. We have already done it and you know it, but still quadratic equation is an equation having highest degree 2. And in class 10, we talk about in one variable only. So, and since the degree is 2, so it will have 2 solutions. And solutions would depend on the condition or situation given to us. That is also we are going to understand while doing these case study questions. So depending on the question only, we'll go back to the question and try and make an equation out of the condition given to us. We are given the speed of the motorboat is 20 km per hour, and we have to find the speed of the current, and total distance is given to be 15 km. And the relation between the time taken upstream and time taken downstream is also given to us. So that relation would give us an equation. And we know that what is time? Time is distance upon speed. We have already calculated in the previous question. So based on that concept, we will be forming the equation. So 15 kilometer distance upon, first, because we are going upstream, what is the speed? Speed is 20 minus x, already calculated in first part. We are going to use that. Then speed downstream is 20 plus x. That also we have discussed. And one basic concept while forming equations here, you have to keep in mind. The time and speed have which relation? They have inverse relation. If you increase your time for a fixed distance, if you increase the speed, you would take less time if distance is fixed. This concept has to be very clear. If distance is fixed, you are going with the speed, and if you increase, less time. If you decrease, go slower, you will take more time to cover the same distance. So this concept, if very clear to you, would make you form this equation. So 15 upon 20 minus x is the time taken upstream, downstream, and 15 upon 20 plus x is the time taken downstream, because it is adding up. So time taken upstream and would be more than time taken downstream, because downstream that's time is adding up. The speed of the stream is adding with the speed of the boat. So that means we have time taken upstream. If we are taking +1, we would always have it. Then we get an equation and we are able to give the correct option. So calculations from the questions are going to give us what we have to answer in the next part. So they are all interrelated. You have to just keep on checking what is the answer, because if you calculate once, you may be having answers to other parts of the equation as well, or the questions as well. Now, next question is, what is the speed of current? Now, speed of current, we have to find, that is value of x. How are we going to find the value of x? From the equation we have got in the previous question, which was representing the situation in a quadratic form. Now, to solve a quadratic form, you can do by the factorization method. You can use quadratic formula, whichever suits you best or whichever you feel at ease. So when you find, I've done it with factorization. So when we calculate, simplify the equations, we get two answers because this is a quadratic equation. So obviously it is going to have two values of x. But when we find those values, we get that one x is equal to 10 and x is equal to minus 40. So what is x? X is speed of the current which we have taken. Now, and here our logical knowledge, our analytical knowledge should come into picture. Can a speed of anything be negative? Now in mathematics, mostly this minus sign, when it is related, shows the direction. But here, can the speed be negative? No. So we have to reject this value. If it would have been only calculation of simple quadratic equations, then it would have been, answer would have been both the values of x. But now because this is situational question, so we have to see which answer we have to take. And that would be x is equals to 10. So that is the only possible answer. So speed of the current is 10 kilometer per hour. So that's how you are going to solve and get the answer. And so you get the right option. So from one, you get the other answer. Then we have got the speed of the boat already given in the question. We have got the speed of the current. Now we are going to talk about the time because we know the two things. Now we can easily calculate the time taken by the boat downstreams. So how would we calculate that? We know that speed of the motorboat is 20 kilometer per hour. We have already calculated it. It is given, and speed of the current is calculated 10 kilometers. So what would be the speed of the boat downstream? We are coming down the stream. So both the speeds are added up. Speed of the motorboat and speed of the current. So when both are added, we get the value as 30 kilometer per hour. And that is the distance, which is 15 kilometer given, traveled by the motorboat in 30 minutes. So you might have seen all the questions are interconnected. So from one you get to the other, the concepts are related to all. So one by one you can proceed and get the solution from using the previous knowledge or the previous question. So that's how we are going to go ahead with the situational case study question. So this was the first question which is discussed. Now we are going to move to the second case study and see what it has. Again, it might be very familiar to all of you, the situation which is given here, and you can relate similar situations with even your life, what you have been doing. Now, the second case is Nidhi and Rhea are very close friends. Now, Nidhi's parents own a Maruti Alto and Rhea's parents own a Toyota Liva. This is just for information. It can be any form of vehicle you are traveling to. Now, both their families decide to go for a picnic to Somnath Temple in Gujarat by their own cars. Nidhi travels X kilometer per hour, while Rhea's car travels 5 kilometer per hour more than Nidhi's car. So the two forms and they are related. So the relation has to be understood. Then Nidhi's car took 4 hours more than Rhea's car in covering 400 kilometers. So this some similarity is there with the first case study, but the situation has changed. Now again, total distance is given, and now it is not upstream or downstream. Now it is relation between the speed of two vehicles. So that relation has to be understood, and then the equations formed. So see the first question. What will be the distance covered by Rhea's car in 2 hours? So for this, the concept, again, speed, distance, and time relation should be known to you. So we are given speed, we are given time, and we have to find the distance covered. So what is the distance covered? Is speed into time. We know that. And if we know this relationship between the three aspects of mathematics, we would be able to get the answer. So speed is given to x plus 5, because from where did we get the speed of Rhea's car? From the condition which is given to us. Now the condition which is given is Nidhi's car travels x kilometer per hour while Rhea's car travels 5 kilometer per hour more than Nidhi's car. So when it is 5 kilometer more, we will get the speed of Rhea's car, that is x plus 5 kilometer per hour. And time is 2 hours given here. So we get the answer to our first situation. And so our option 1 is correct in this case. So let's take the second question, which is based on, again, the same situation we are given. Now, see, in the previous, we had to find a quadratic equation. Now, quadratic equation we are talking about. So again, the same situation, same thing has come up again. Now, which of the following quadratic equation describe the speed of Nidhi's car? Now we are going to get the relation with Nidhi's car and Rhea's car. So we will be letting, because x is kilometer per hour, is the speed given for Nidhi's car. So again, the situation is there, distance upon speed, because we are given that relation, and if the speed is more, time taken will be less. So speed is x plus 5 and distance is 400 kilometers. So we get the equation. And when we simplify the equation, we get the quadratic equation. Now, in the end, when we get to the quadratic equation, that we have to match with our options which are given. And then we can find the answer to our questions. So be careful about the sign here and the calculation part, because sign matters a lot in maths, which are called operations of mathematics: plus, minus, multiplication, division. And you know what happens when operation goes wrong in operation theater by the doctors. And same thing happens in mathematics. If any sign goes wrong, then you can imagine the disaster happens and you will never get a correct answer. So you have to be very careful regarding the signs here. Now, let's see the next question, which is based on the same. We have got the two equations, and now what is the speed of Nidhi's car? We have to find. We have got a quadratic equation which gives us the expression which gives us for the Nidhi's car travel. Now we have to find the speed of Nidhi's car. And obviously, how can we find that? We can find it by, again, simplifying the quadratic equation which is given to us, which we have already solved in the previous question. So we are going, again, both the options are there for you. You solve it by factorization method or you go in for quadratic formula. But the main aim of R is to find the values of x. Again, here when we solve, we get two values of x, because speed can never be negative. It will be positive only, which is, so we have to reject minus 25, which is not possible. So we have to get into x is equal to 20, and speed of Nidhi's car is 20 kilometer per hour. So see, what we are seeing is the situations are changing, but the approach remains same for similar type of questions. We just have to understand what the question is. If we get the correct question into our mind, we can solve it according to that. So again, let's see the next question which can be formed. Now, what is the speed of Rhea's car? Nidhi's car we have already found. And how would we find speed of Rhea's car? Again, we will go back to the question and we see the relation that Nidhi's car travels x kilometer per hour while Rhea's car travels 5 kilometer more than Nidhi's car. So we have already found the value of x, that is Nidhi's car speed, and adding 5 to it, we can get Rhea's car speed. So every time when we read a question which is based on a situation, and to answer that, please keep on reading the question again and again, because question, that situation which is given to us, is going to give us the solution to the next question. So Rhea's car speed is there. We have found it by adding 5 to Nidhi's car speed. That is the relation given to us. So now we have talked about the distance, we have talked about speed. Why to leave the time? Because there are so many questions which can be formed from one given situation. So how much time Rhea took to travel 400 kilometers? Distance is fixed, we know. Now we know the speed of the car as well. Both the car speed is known. So either Rhea's car time is asked or Nidhi's time is asked. Both we can answer easily. So speed of Rhea's car is 25 km per hour. We have calculated, and time taken we know is distance upon speed. So we can easily calculate hours which are taken by Rhea to cover 400 kilometers. So the situations are telling us what to do. The previous question takes us to the next question's answer. We have to just make a link of the solutions which we are doing. From one, we are going to the other. From other, we are going to the next one. So that relation, if is understood by all of you, it will be very easy to answer all these questions. So now option is given. So we have discussed two situations. Now let's take a very common situation which is normally seen. Now every school has an auditorium and chairs are placed systematically there. And similar situation, I'll take you back to the marching. 26 January is approaching. So you might have seen the troops marching. If they are in perfect rows and columns, they look fabulous. And the scene which you see on the parade ground, everybody wants to give them a standing ovation. And similarly, any arrangement done in a systematic way is always very good and is praised by all. So everywhere the mathematics concept come into being. Now we'll just discuss a situation about the auditorium in a school. So in an auditorium, seats are arranged in rows and columns. Now the number of rows are equal to the number of seats in each row. While reading the question, a picture, though I've shared a picture, but a picture of the image should be formed. That what kind of a figure it will be when the number of rows and number of columns are same. And when the number of rows, this situation, first situation is given, and now the situation is changing. When the number of rows are doubled and number of seats in each row are reduced by 10, the total number of seats increases by 300. Now that situation is given to you. So you have to understand the two things, and then based on that, we are going to answer. Obviously, by this time, first situation at least would have come to your mind that number of rows are equal to the number of seats in each row. That means you are forming a square figure. So like this approach should be there. Let any question be there, but if you understand the situation, if even before going on to the question asked, it will always be easy for you to solve them. So let's see the first question based on this situation. If X is taken as number of rows in original arrangement, mind you, see the word original arrangement and remember it, because we are going to change. We are given two situations here. So this word matters a lot. If X is taken as number of rows in original arrangement, which of the following quadratic equation describes the situation? So that means we have to form the quadratic equation given as per the situation. So number of rows are doubled now and number of seats increased by 300. So first we should know how many seats were there before the original arrangement. So number of rows are equal to the number of seats. And so if we take the number of x as the number of rows in the original arrangement, obviously the total number of seats would be x square, as the figure formed is a square. So length and breadth both are equal. So the number of seats would be x square. Now that is the original number of seats. And now let's go to the next situation. When the number of rows are doubled, x is the original row, so doubled means 2x. And the seats in each row is reduced by 10. So how many seats were there? X rows and x seats. So now the seats in each row is reduced by 10. So we have how many number of seats now? X minus 10. So such situations you have to understand. So x minus 10 and total seats have increased by 300. So originally we had x square seats and they are increasing by 300. Increase means plus. So x square plus 300. You get a total number of seats in the rearranged form. And in the second way, there are two ways you can calculate the total number of seats. One is using the previous number of seats and increase seats. Second is the total number of rows is 2x and number of seats in each row is x minus 10. So when you multiply length into breadth, again, number of rows into the number of seats in each row, you would get the total number of seats. So to get an equation, we need two things which are equal to each other. So that is how you get 2x into x minus 10 equal to x square plus 30. And on simplifying, you will get the equation which will describe the given situation. And the equation is x square minus 20x plus minus 300. So that gives us the answer. So understanding the situation and then based on that solving always gives you a correct option. So step by step, if you go in for it. Now we have got the quadratic equation. So based on that, we are going to solve the question. So the questions will be asked on simplification, what we are going to get. Now, how many number of rows are there in the original arrangement? Now, original arrangement, we have already got a quadratic equation. And then that means we have taken x as number of rows there in the quadratic equation. And it means in this question, we have to find the value of x. So how can we find value of x? From the quadratic equation which we have made, we can again factorize or use quadratic equation formula and get to the answer. Again, we are getting two solutions, two values of x. We have to reject minus value. We cannot say that one value only you find. No, because it is a quadratic equation. So you will be getting two values of x. And we have to see whether they are as per the situation. Can the values be taken or not? So no rows, negative rows is not meaningful. So we are going to reject that value and we will take x as 30 only. So number of rows are 30, the original rows. Remember, because the question, further questions can be asked related to this. So you have to remember the number of rows which you have found is 30. So that gives you a correct option. And then let's see the next question. How many number of seats are there in the auditorium in original arrangement? See, the questions are interrelated. Previous question, you have found the original number of rows. Now you have to find the number of seats in the auditorium in the original form. So what was the figure? It was a square because number of rows were equal to number of seats in each row. So both were equal and it was forming a square. So how many chairs would be there? I hope you know the answer now very well. So it is x square, side into side. So we get the number of original seats as x square, which is 30 square, and the answer is 900. So one solution would take you to the solution of the other question, and you can answer. The basic concepts have to be clear. So now we have found the number of rows, we have found the number of original seats. Now let's talk about the rearrangement done. So there would be some questions based on rearrangement also. And now here is the next question. How many number of seats are there in the auditorium after rearrangement? With the arrangement, the first arrangement, we have already calculated the number of seats. Now after rearrangement, and that again, we have to go back to the question, which tells us that the total number of seats increased by 300. That means original number we have found as 900 and the seats have increased by 300. So after rearrangement, what is the number of seats available to us now? So that's how you get to the solution. So they are interlinked, remember that, and try and get from one the answer to the next question, and you get the option. So that's how you have to keep on getting the situations and getting to know the answers to it. So again, one more, because we have talked about rows, we have talked about the number of seats. Now columns. And what is the column? That is again, see, we were given a square shape in the beginning. That is the original arrangement. Then we changed it, but we don't know how many columns are there, how many seats are there in each row. So that is not known to us. Total number of seats are known. So that also we can find out how to get after the rearrangement. So very easy. The number of rows has been increased to 2 times. So we know that the number of rows are 30. We have found it already, the value of x. And then after rearrangement, the number of rows is 60. So we know the number of rows. We know the total number of seats, 1200, which we have found in the previous question. So what can we do? We can find the total number of columns after rearrangement. And that can be easily found, you know now, is total seats upon number of rows, and you get the answer. And then match it with the option given, and your option is B. So like this, you have to keep on studying, understanding the questions, and getting to know how to relate the previous solution which you have done to the next solution. So all solutions are interrelated, and it will take you to the next solution. And there can be many other questions which can be formed with the given situation. So you have to be carefully noting down everything and then getting to the answer. So one more case study situation. See, we are taking mostly what we face in the day-to-day life, the situations. But we very rarely relate it to mathematics. But without mathematics, we cannot do anything, or at least many things which involve money, traveling, speed, distance, weight, cost, all these things, they are all related to maths. So let's see, everybody enjoys going for picnic. So I've taken a second situation of picnic again, but it has a different concept with it. So let's enjoy being on picnic and see what all we can do to understand maths in that. So some students planned a picnic The total budget for picnic was rupees 2000, but 5 students failed to attend the picnic. Now, this is a very common situation in schools because when we plan a trip, all students are there, but due to some reason or the other, at the end, a few drop. But we have kept a budget. So even if the students drop down, the budget will not change. Because normally what happens is we hire some external agency for that. And they have asked us for a fixed amount. So what happens is amount is fixed. Even if the number of students drop, then the same amount will be distributed in the students who are going on. So per person, the amount increases. So it is a normal situation which every school faces or any trip organizer faces. So we have to understand that situation and how it affects the students who are going, how much increase they have already given. That 20 rupees is increased. If 5 drops, 20 rupees is increased from what it is increased. So let's see the situation. So there are things where money is involved, that is entry ticket to the picnic park, then coffee is served to all the students, food is served, traveling cost also is included, and then ice creams, obviously that is loved by every child and they love to have ice creams in the picnic. So cost per student is again shared, 5 rupees per student, entry ticket, 10 rupees for coffee and 25 rupees for food, 50 for traveling and 15 for ice cream. So the situation is given, all the data is given, and let's see what the questions can be formed. Now the first is, if X is the number of students planned for picnic, which is the correct quadratic equation that describes the situation? So that is what you have to be finding out. So let's see how it is to be found out. The total budget is 2000 rupees and 5 students failed to attend. So that means we have to we are given the number of students planned for picnic. So if we have X number of students going for picnic and total amount is 2000. So how to get to the equation? So 2000 amount total is divided into X students. And that is per student, the amount is coming up. But when 5 of them drop out, then 20 rupees is added to each child's purse. So for 1, if we find plus 20 would give us the amount which is given to the remaining students now. So that is how the equation will be formed. And then you can simplify and get the equation and then match it with the options given to you. So then you will get the correct answer. So now what can be the next question which can be asked? What is the number of students planned for picnic? Yes, because when we get a situation, we have formed a quadratic equation by taking X as the number of students who plan for the picnic. Now, obviously, we have to find the number of students who plan for picnic. That means we have to simplify that quadratic equation and get the value of X. So again, simplify that quadratic equation. And again, we are getting the two values of X. One is X is equal to 25, another is X is equal to minus 20. Same situation, X is equal to minus 20 is to be rejected and only X is equal to 25 is to be taken because number of students are in counting numbers. And so we get the option and get the answer. So when you get the answer, you match it with the MCQ and give the correct option. Now we have talked about the number of students who have planned. Now let's find out how many students attended the picnic. We know X student, we have found that, and now 5 students dropped. So how many attended the picnic? Is from the total students, you subtract 5 and you will get the number of students who attended it. Okay, so that is how you can find out. So relate it to the situation and the previous one, and you will get the next part and get the correct option. Now we have talked about the number of students, we have talked about the students per student cost. Now we are going to talk about the total expense of the picnic, and you get the total expense per student. Add all the numbers given, cost per student, that will be the total expense, and then multiplied by 20, because 20 is the number of student. So per student, if you get, then multiplied by 20, you are going to get the total expenses, which I have taken uh, into account here. Then we come to the last question of this case study, that is how much money they spent on traveling. Now, for each condition, entry ticket, coffee, food, traveling, ice cream, all these things can be asked as a question. So only one question, just to give you a brainstorming thing, it has been asked for traveling. Similarly, you can make questions for other options, and then you can answer them. So how much money they spent on traveling? 50 rupees per student, and now we know the number of students, so we can find the total money which is spent on the students. So you can get the money spent on traveling and then look for the right option in the MCQ, and you are going to get the answer there. So correct option is there. So like this, these are the like case study questions are based on the day-to-day life situations, and then many questions can be formed from the basic concept given in your syllabus, and you can go ahead in making other questions which can be related to it. So nothing new, but a different way of asking has been taken up by CBSE in this context. So that's all from my side for today. So please like, share, and subscribe 1 Mark Solution, and you will get many more of the things which are going to help you out. And please feel free to contact me on this number and my email ID. Any student who have any doubts, anything to say, query, you're always open. And thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Definitely, you have discussed all the required questions from case study and all type of questions which can be asked by the CBSE. You have discussed with the students as well as with the teachers. So many teachers have joined uh, for today's session. And लास्ट में आपने जो बैंड दिखाया केवी ये जो आपका विद्यालय है पिलानी का बिरला
जी
बालिका विद्यापीठ का, आपने लास्ट टाइम सेशन में मुझे बताया था कि ये आपका हर साल राजपथ पर जाता है दिल्ली के लिए. सो हमारी
जी ये
शुभकामनाएं
61
साथ
ईयर्स
में
से
हैं.
जा रहा है,
और
दिस इज यूनिक feature of our school, sir. And
जी
1959, Pandit Nehru came to Pilani, and that time he saw the girls playing brass band. So that is one of the toughest things. Oh, and he selected, and
ओके.
continuously we are there on Rajpath since that day. And so we feel proud of our girls. Really being there for 1 full month with army people and living their life. So
यस यस
that's a
यस.
great thing for girls to do.
Exactly. So thank you so much, Savitri ma'am, for sparing your valuable time and joining us for the betterment of the students and discussing the different, sharing your expertise, your knowledge, and your experience with all the teachers, all the students, so that they also can get the good case study questions and also can solve the case study problems and get the good marks in their examinations. I am sharing the feedback link in the live chat box. So students are requested to fill the feedback form so that they can get the certificate. And also very soon we will be here for some more chapters with the Savitri ma'am. And tomorrow we are going to discuss about the art integrated learning in mathematics with Apsa ma'am. She is from Hyderabad and she will take session from 4 to 5 tomorrow. Kindly join us and share this video with your friends, with your classmates, so that more and more students can be benefited from these type of sessions. And kindly subscribe the channel, those who have not subscribed it, and stay tuned with us. So many sessions for case study, for general your subject, science, mathematics, social sciences are have been conducted on this platform. You can go to visit, you can visit playlist of this platform, so that you can get all type of 1 mark questions from all subject and all chapters. Once again, I would like to thank Madam Savitri Dal and
Thank you.
Principal of Birla Balika Vidyapit. Kindly convey my regards to Principal Ma'am. She is
Sure, sir. Sure.
constantly supporting all of you to join this platform, and definitely without her permission, without her cooperation, it is not possible to have all of you from the Madam
Yes, sir.
Savitri
My
Dal
special thanks
on
to
this
her
platform.
because I forgot to thank her in the beginning. So she has always been motivating us to do something new and different. So I'm here because
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
of
ma'am.
her encouragement and support. So I really, on
Yes,
this
ma'am.
platform, I humbly thank my principal, Dr. M. Kasturi, for always supporting us and showing us the right path of growth. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.